Come on in, come on in, come on in. Happy Friday. Hope you had a beautiful week. I am very glad that we are at the end of the week. But you know what time it is? It is time for our weekly night show. So let's get started. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Aries Rose, and welcome to Aries Rose TV. If you've been on the live before, you know the drill. Leave a hashtag Aries Crew in the comments if you are a returning Aries member. Leave first time watcher in the comments. If you are a first time watcher, I want to give you a shout out for stopping by and spending part of your day here. We have some great topics that we're going to be talking with you about tonight. If you are new to the channel, overall, we talk about movies, TV shows, streaming shows, pop culture, celebrity news, politics, world news, basically anything I find interesting, I come on and discuss with my Aries crew. And tonight we got some good tea we're going to talk about. So we have 3 topics that we are going to touch on for this live. And then we will be going live over the weekend. And we're going to be doing some movie reviews. So I had a chance to go check out Thunderbolts. So stay tuned. We're going to do a review on Thunderbolts. And there's some other movies I had a chance to check out as well. So we're going to try to do at least 2 more lives over the weekend to cover some movies that I think you should go and take a look at if you get the chance to go this weekend. So tonight's Bill Belichick's cringy interview that he had recently, where his 24-year-old girlfriend kind of came in and shut down one of the questions about how they met. So we're going to talk about that. We also have an update on Diddy's prosecution team. Diddy's going to be going, the trial is scheduled to start on May 5th. So we got some updates on there. And then we are also going to talk about Jill Sobule. She was a singer and she had a song out back in 1995, I Kissed a Girl, and she sadly and recently tragically passed away in a fire. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. And as you come in, let me know how your week is going in the comments. I hope you had a great week. I don't know about you, but I'm super happy that we're at the weekend here. So I'm looking forward to getting some chill time in. Let me know if you have any weekend plans for this Saturday or Sunday of things that you're going to be doing. And we're going to get into our first story here for tonight. So we're going to talk about the singer Jill Sobule. So she was a singer back in the 90s. So if you are familiar with music from that time frame or familiar with her, one of her bigger hits was I Kissed a Girl. And we're going to take a quick pause for some comments here. And forgive me if I'm not saying your name right. Edie Milka, thank you so much for being on here. Appreciate it. Little Star Raw, thank you so much for being on here. Appreciate the support tonight. Let me know how your week is going or how your Friday is going. And we're going to jump into the story from reporting from TMZ. So this caught my attention based on this headline. And it's friends thought she escaped house fire with them. And sadly, she did not. So let's get into this story and see what was going on with that. Jill Sobule was staying with close friends when a fire broke out at their home, and they believe she was with them when they were making their escape from the blaze. That's pretty scary because, especially if it happened at night, and we'll see if it talks about the time of day. But sometimes you have such an adrenaline rush going that you're just thinking about getting yourself out to safety, that the time to think about all the things you would under logical circumstances where you're not under, some kind of time crunch or imminent danger, you just don't have a chance to think about that. And that's pretty sad because they thought she was with them and it turns out she was not. And I, can't really hold them to that because I understand if you were just trying to get yourself out to safety, that makes complete sense. Self-preservation kicks in at some point when your life is in danger. So, I can't really hold them to that, but I can understand that they would be feeling guilt for that. That too is a very understandable emotion to experience. And let's see what else we have. The singer-songwriter died Thursday in an early morning house fire. Oh, so it was early in the morning while staying with a married couple in a suburb of St. Paul, Minnesota. Craig Grossman, Jill's agent, tells TMZ the unidentified couple quickly scrambled when they realized their home was on fire and they thought Jill was with them while they were running out. It was only after they were safely outside that they realized she was still inside, and by then the blaze was raging too much to go back for her. Craig tells us, I just, I'm sure that that does something to you to turn around and you're thinking, "Oh, I'm just gonna go back and go get this person," and then you realize you cannot do that safely, that you're also putting your life in danger trying to get somebody else or protect them. I just can't imagine that feeling, and I hope I'm never ever in a situation to know that firsthand. And it says the couple had no idea what could have caused the fire, and Craig noted that none of the three smoke and Jill did not do drugs. The owner's home is at the owner's home is a complete loss and they have extreme survivor's guilt. So it looks like in addition to losing a friend, they also lost their home. So it doesn't look like that's going to have an ability to be repaired. And based on the image of it, it looks like it's pretty extensive fire damage. A rep for the Ramsey County Medical Examiner in Minnesota tells TMZ investigators are digging into the cause and manner of Jill's death. And a major detail investigators are trying to determine is whether she was still alive when a house fire broke out, where she was later found deceased. The Ramsey County rep tells us that in order to figure out if she passed before the fire or because of it, Jill's being tested for drugs, alcohol, and carbon monoxide poisoning. Very sad, very, very sad ending to her life. May she rest in peace. And, best wishes to her friends that were a part of that fire as well. I'm glad they made it out safely, and I hope they get the help that they need to kind of deal and compartmentalize this traumatic incident that happened to them, losing a home and a friend. Very sad news to see today. Let me know if you're familiar with Jill Sobule and if you know her music. And if you do, what song do you like of hers? And let's see, we'll take a pause for the comments. We got Marcus Jonathan on here. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you for coming on and spending part of your day here on the live. And if you can like the video on your way in, greatly appreciate it. Goes a long way. It helps to support the channel, gets us out there to some more eyes. And next, we're going to go into Diddy. So Diddy's prosecution team is now known, and Diddy's trial for his federal charges is going to start on Monday, May 5th, and we will be monitoring any updates or news that comes out from that. So make sure you are subscribed to Aries Rose TV. We will be going live to make sure we share that information out with the Aries crew, and hit that notification bell so you find out every time I go live, post videos, post on the community page so you can stay up to date here. And it looks like he was not able to get the trial delayed for a couple more months. I think they were looking to do, because they were saying Diddy's defense team said that the prosecution team was giving them the discovery information really slowly, so they didn't have a chance to go through everything and they needed more time. And the judge denied that motion. And he also had attempts to try to get out on bail since he has been locked up in MDC. And all three of those have been denied as well. So it looks like everything is going to be moving forward as scheduled with May 5th. And let's see who we have on Diddy's prosecution team, because all eyes, if not the world's eyes, are going to be on this trial, because ever since Cassie filed her lawsuit against Diddy that was settled in 24 hours, I just always need to throw that in there, back in November of 2023, the floodgates opened up for people suing Diddy for various reasons and different time frames in which these incidents occurred. And that kind of led to the feds looking into him more, and that's leading into these charges that have been filed against him now for this trial that he'll be going to. So Diddy has been locked up in MDC, Metropolitan Detention Center, since I want to say September of 2024. So he's been in there for quite some time. So this trial is now going to bring to a head of whether or not he's going to be found guilty for the charges that the feds have placed on him. So that's why I think people are going to be watching, because everybody's interested to know how this is going to go, what evidence, what witnesses are going to come up. Allegedly, Cassie is going to be one of the witnesses that will be taking the stand. So we're definitely going to be keeping an eye out to see what comes from this. But let's see what TMZ reporting is on the prosecution team that Diddy's going to be going up against in this trial. So the federal prosecutors who will be trying to secure a conviction against Diddy in his upcoming trial are all Caucasian women, led by the daughter of former FBI Director James Comey. Maureen Ray Comey is set to lead the team of U.S. attorneys from the vaunted Southern District of New York next week in court when jury selection begins in Diddy's ex-trafficking trial. Maureen's father is the former FBI director who had a controversial role in the 2016 presidential election, and I definitely remember that when he released a report about Hillary Clinton just before it was time to go to vote that was making Hillary Clinton look not so good. And that really came under fire of like whether or not he was trying to affect the election results by releasing that report at that time. So I definitely remember that being a big deal. Let's see, Jay ultimately fired from his post by President Trump a few months into Trump's first term. Maureen Comey is a Harvard Law School graduate, and she's very experienced when it comes to ex-trafficking trials, helping secure a conviction against Jeffrey Epstein's associate, Ghislaine Maxwell. So that was a pretty high-profile case. So if she was working on that, that means she knows her stuff, and it's probably not one to mess with. So let's see what more we got on her. The rest of the women designated as leads for the prosecution include Emily Ann Johnson, Madison Reddick Simser, Mary Christine Slavic, Meredith Foster, and Mitzi Steiner. Diddy's defense has told us they plan to make race a big factor. His attorney, Mark Agnifilio, says that this is a takedown of a, quote, successful black man, end quote. So it's interesting the feds are rolling with an all-white prosecution here. In theory, female prosecutors will be able to connect with the jury over Diddy's alleged crimes against women. Diddy has pled not guilty to all 5 charges he's facing: 2 counts of ex-trafficking, 2 counts of transportation to engage in paying for ex-workers, and 1 count of racketeering, and he turned down a plea deal from the feds. So this case is going to move forward, and I'm definitely wanting to see what's going to come from this. I didn't even think it was going to get this far, nor did I ever think Diddy was going to get arrested. So I am definitely curious as to what evidence the feds have that led them to the conclusion they can charge him for it and believe that they can successfully prosecute him on this case. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are you going to be tuning in to see updates on this Diddy case? And then we got a story about Mace. I saw an article on here about Mace saying should he attend Diddy's trial. So let's read that. Mace was a former artist on Bad Boy Entertainment and worked with Diddy a lot back in the 90s. They did a lot of songs together. And it looks like their relationship, ended up going south over money at some point in time. So they haven't had the same relationship they did when Mace at first came out and he was working really closely with Diddy. So let's see what he says. This is reporting from TMZ. Mace says people keep hitting him up asking if he's going to make an appearance in the gallery at the upcoming Diddy criminal trial, and he's seemingly putting the decision up to his fans. The rapper revealed on his It Is What It Is podcast with Cameron that he keeps getting asked about going to support Diddy in court, and he's asking fans to vote on whether he should go or not. Mace and Diddy have a long history, with Mace releasing his debut album, Harlem World, in 1997 on Diddy's label Bad Boy Records. Diddy had features on 3 songs on Harlem World, and they also collabed on other hits over the years like Mo Money, Mo Problems with the Notorious B.I.G. and Can't Hold Me Down. Other songs featuring Mace and Diddy include the Only You remix by 112 and Been Around the World. Jury selection in Diddy's criminal trial begins Monday, and opening statements are expected the following week. And it's all going down in a Manhattan courtroom. Let me know if you think Mace should attend the trial. He does have a long history with Diddy. I would assume if he's going, it would be going in support of him, but I definitely want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Also, let me know if you think Diddy will be found guilty or not. Let's keep that conversation going here. And now we're going to get into our last story for tonight about Bill Belichick's cringy interview that he recently had. So Bill Belichick is a legendary football coach. I want to say he worked with the New England Patriots, and he worked a lot of years with Tom Brady. So those were two names I always heard kind of together a lot. So I didn't follow football that closely, and especially not that team. But I do know he has been in the game as a football coach. I want to say he was a head coach for a very long time, and he had a string of successful years with Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. But he is since enjoying his time in retirement, and he is 73. And he's got a 24-year-old girlfriend. Now, if the conversation is going about Shannon Sharpe allegedly meeting the woman who is suing him now, the Jane Doe who is suing him now, when she was 19 years old and he was 53. If that age difference has got people going, that's not a good look. This one definitely should be getting the same response. I am all for date who you love, be with who you want to be with, and in some instances, age should not matter. It should matter when you're dealing with minors. That matters. And it should matter in an age gap as wide as your partner's 73 and you are 24. Now, while I'm glad she's in her 20s and not in the teens, it's still quite a big age gap. And it's my understanding that Bill Belichick has children older than his current girlfriend. So it looks a little off. It looks a little bit off. I'm not sure what they may have in common other than the physical, and maybe that makes him feel good to have a younger girlfriend. It makes him feel like, hey, I still got it, or he likes the way she looks or likes the way she looks with him. But at the end of the day, what do they really have in common? How long is this relationship going to last? What is it really built on? Only time will tell. But I just don't see how interested a 24-year-old can be in a 73-year-old for a very long term. Because not to mention, you truly don't know how long this person has. So it's not like they're looking at the same amount of years as a 24-year-old is. And I'm not saying you don't deserve love at that time, but, presumably she may outlive him. And as well as building a family together when he already has children who are older than her. Maybe she doesn't want kids. I don't know. Interesting relationship. I don't know if she's with him for the money, but I have to say that that's probably what makes somebody of his age seem very attractive to someone who is 24 years old, is the stability and the money. Because I'm sure Bill Belichick is doing fine in that area. I'm pretty confident he was well compensated as a coach for, or as the head coach for the Patriots during his time there. But let's get into what happened when he recently did an interview here that's got the internet talking about his latest girlfriend here. And give me a few moments to bring up that story. And if you are on the live, let me know if you are a Aries Crew member by saying hashtag Aries Crew in the comments, or if you are a first-time watcher, leave first-time watcher in the comments. I want to give you a shout out for being here. And we got that story up. So let's see. All right, Jordan Hudson, nightmare during Belichick interview, stormed off set. So let's get into this reporting from TMZ. Jordan Hudson went completely off the rails during Bill Belichick's CBS interview to the point where she stormed out of the room and delayed shooting for 30 minutes. Sources familiar with the situation tell TMZ Sports. Belichick agreed to do a sit-down with Tony. All right, let's see. Ducopel, I might be saying the name wrong, of CBS Mornings to promote his new book, The Art of Winning, but it turned into an L, at least PR-wise, with his 24-year-old girlfriend interrupted the interviewer when they were asking how she had met Bill. We're told outside of that baffling moment that made the final edit, there were numerous other instances of Hudson butting in. Even when the legendary coach was answering questions about football, she would stop and correct him. That's kind of wild, because how would you correct somebody who's a legend in football, who's got a long career in doing that, was in the NFL, the National Football League, was with one of the top teams at the time, and you're stopping and correcting him? Interesting. And our sources say Belichick only arrived at the interview with Hudson. No one from his publishing company, the University of North Carolina, or any other rep was with him, which was a bit of a head scratcher to CBS producers on set. So it sounded like it was just the two of them. And I don't know if he normally travels with people from those other businesses and they're normally there when he's doing interviews, or if it would just typically be him and her. And let's see, at one point in the Q&A, Hudson got so heated she stood up and walked away and wanted Bill Belichick to follow. It's unclear if Coach agreed, but the blow-up delayed the whole interview for about half an hour. We're told once things calmed down, Ducopel, who was spooked by the whole encounter, elected to wrap up things quickly and end the awkward experience. So it looks like she's affecting him on a professional level. It's one thing if you want to date and go around with this person, but now it seems like they're kind of getting involved in things that, typically would just be something that Bill would be engaged in or Bill would be answering. Rather, it looks like she was kind of coaching from the sidelines there. And I saw the bits from the interview, and it looked like Bill was wearing a tattered sweater that had a hole in it that said Navy on it. And it just looked like it was an old beat up shirt that he had put on, which kind of surprised me because I think I've seen him looked a little bit more polished when I've seen him on TV or he's doing interviews. So to wear that shirt was an odd choice. I don't know if it was meant to give him a youthful look or it just seemed like he just got dressed real quick and got there. Like there was no thought put into it. He just grabbed the first thing that he saw. So I'm a little bit surprised if she's this involved that she let him go out this way. So maybe that was an intentional style choice. But let me know if you saw that tattered Navy shirt that he wore on the interview and what your thoughts were on it. And let's finish up this reporting. As for how the dumpster fire of an encounter got edited, we're told the higher-ups at CBS News and Sports had to get involved to figure out how to salvage it. And while a second interview was scheduled to go down at a later time, it was ultimately scrapped. And we're going to take a pause here. Naderade the Snowman, happy birthday. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate that. If you have a birthday in May, let me know. Anytime in May, let me know. We want to give you a shout out. Say happy birthday. It's always a blessing to see one more year. We want to make sure we acknowledge that. And we're going to jump back into the story. The whole ordeal also isn't sitting well with Bill's employers. We're told folks at UNC are now concerned about Hudson's influence on Belichick's tenure as a head football coach in Chapel Hill, especially with her essentially taking on a role as his manager. Wish that was giving manager vibes if she was kind of trying to coach him from the sidelines. As a source put it, there's a quote, growing sense this could become a problem, end quote. Yeah, not good. Now, I knew he was dating a younger woman. I had heard about that, but I don't really follow him, so it just was kind of in one ear and out the other. But now that I'm hearing about them more, and especially in light of Shannon Sharpe's age discrepancy with that situation that's going on, I feel like if he's getting the smoke for that, so should Bill Belichick. Now, there are some differences in the relationship, but just strictly on the age difference alone, it is off when a 73-year-old is dating a 24-year-old. I'm going to tell you right now, any of my children at the age of 24 bring a man home that is in his 70s and expects me to take that seriously or be okay with that, it's not going to happen. You've already lived your whole life. Like literally, you've already lived your whole life. We're not doing that. You're not doing that. You're not even ready for that world. Leave it alone. You got a whole lot of life to live. Go out, live, make some mistakes, do all of that stuff that you got to do in the early parts. So when you get to that stage in life, you're more chill, you're more relaxed, but you have to go through things. And if you just come right out the gate trying to fit into something that you haven't even had enough life experience to be with, and maybe not even enough boyfriends or romantic experiences to know what you like and don't like, it's a little bit odd to want to get tied down to somebody who's on a totally different spectrum in life. But that's just my thoughts. What do you think about age differences in relationships? Do you think it's okay? Do you think only a certain amount of years in between is all right? Let's keep that conversation going. Definitely want to hear from the Aries crew and see what you think on that. Thank you so much for taking the time to come out and check out the live. We greatly appreciate it. We're going to be going live this weekend to do some do some lives on reviews for movies. So we're definitely going to do one for Thunderbolts. That's the latest Marvel movie that just opened. So stay tuned for that. I plan to do that on Saturday. So keep an eye out on the community page. I'll try to post before I go live so you have a chance to set up your timers. And make sure you have your notifications on so you can find out every time I go live, upload videos, and post on the community page. If you have not already done so, love for you to be a part of the Aries crew. All you got to do is hit that subscription button. Free to subscribe. Look forward to seeing you later. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your Friday and a great start to your weekend. Thank you for watching and take care.